Yes, let's talk about the male accessory genital glands. The male accessory glands include a paired seminal vesicles and a prostate gland, then bulbourethral gland. The paired seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and then bulbourethral gland. Okay, then seminal vesicles. Talking about the seminal vesicle, the first one, the seminal vesicles are a pair of simple tubular glands present posterior inferior to the urinary bladder location. The posterior inferior to the urinary bladder in the pelvic region, that seminal vesicle. Each seminal vesicle opens into the corresponding vas deferens, as we said earlier, that from the testis, the vas deferens is coming, and that vas deferens from the testis is going to join with the seminal vesicle only. He is going to join with the seminal vesicle and form ejaculatory duct like this. Duct of seminal vesicle and vas deferens that we have seen in the diagram. So each seminal vesicle opens into the corresponding vas deferens. This is the vas deferens, where the vas deferens enter the prostate gland. That means talking about the prostate glands are also opens here. Then the secretions of the seminal vesicle constitute 60% of the volume of seminal fluid. That semen or seminal fluid that which is released along with the sperms during ejaculation process, that among them the seminal vesicles itself contribute 60%. Then what is the nature of this fluid? Alkaline viscous fluid that contain fructose, proteins, citric acid, fructose, protein, and citric acid, inorganic phosphorus, potassium, and prostaglandins. Fructose, protein, citric acid, inorganic phosphorus, potassium, and prostaglandins. So once this fluid joins the sperm in the ejaculatory duct, that fructose acts as main energy source for the sperm outside the body. That till they reach to the fallopian tube of the female, that fructose is going to play a vital role, is providing energy. Fructose acts as the main energy source for the sperm outside the body. Then what are the prostaglandins? Prostaglandins are believed to aid fertilization by causing the mucus lining of the cervix to be more receptive to sperm, as well as by aiding the movement of the sperm towards the ovum with peristaltic contractions of the uterus and fallopian tubes after coitus. Okay, so these words, cervix. Cervix is the part of female reproductive system. That means when the sperms are introduced into the female in the copulation, that what you say coitus, in the copulation, that the cervix is a region that we will get in the female reproductive system. The cervix that to more receptive to the sperm, okay, as well as by aiding the movement of the sperm towards the ovum with peristaltic contractions of the uterus. So that means the prostaglandins are the secretions which are present in the seminal vesicle. They convert the cervix to more hostile, more receptive to the sperm, and sperm should travel that along with the sperm, that this is the uterus and this is the cervix and vagina, then this is the cervix region. So that making more hostile, more receptive to this particular sperms, and then they should travel, isn't it, through the uterus. They need to travel towards the fallopian tube. So promote the peristaltic contractions of the uterus as well as fallopian tubes that we have to talk about. So we'll discuss that the basic diagram and on that we'll discuss in a female reproductive system. So the things to be remembered here: seminal vesicle, 60% of the volume of seminal fluid. Contents here, these are the major contents to be remembered: the fructose and prostaglandins. Main source of energy is the fructose, and the prostaglandins play a vital role, making the cervix of the female to be receptive for the sperm, and making the contractions of the peristaltic contractions of the uterus and fallopian tube to reach the sperm towards the fallopian tube. Okay, so for fertilization process, they are going to help. That's the things to be remembered over in case of seminal vesicles. Okay, then next, the second one we'll go with prostate gland. Prostate gland. So, vast difference travel that we are seeing here. This is the vast difference of the both sides. It will come, and along with that, we are seeing now the seminal vesicles are also going to join with them. The duct of seminal vesicle and vast difference that we say that as ejaculatory duct into which our prostate gland. So now the prostate gland, we have to talk about prostate glands. With the help of small ducts, they get open. Okay, so prostate gland located directly beneath the urinary bladder. The gland surrounds the prostatic urethra. The gland surrounds the prostatic urethra and sends its secretion through several prostate ducts. In man, the function. So here the contribution wise that we said seminal vesicle semen is already 60%. Here the contribution 15 to 30% of the semen contribution done by the secretions of the prostate gland. They are slightly acidic, the secretion. The prostate secretion function here activate the spermatozoa and they are also participate in the nutrition. Okay. So below this we'll find the Cowper glands or bulbourethral glands, which are also called Cowper glands, located beneath the prostate gland. Then these are the bulbourethral glands or Cowper glands, located beneath the prostate glands. Okay, so then beginning of the internal portion of the penis, they add an alkaline fluid to the semen. They add an alkaline fluid to the semen during the process of ejaculation. That the fluid secreted by these glands lubricates the urethra. Urethra, that we have the continuation here, urethra, urinogenital canal. Then, so what they're saying here, the fluid secreted by these glands lubricates the urethra, that this passage lubricated over. It is also thought to be the function as flushing agent. That means urethra means urinogenital canal, isn't it? Through here only the urine is passing out. The passage of the urine is also the same tract. So that washes out the acidic urinary residues that may remain in the urethra before the semen is ejaculated. That washes out the acidic urinary residues that may remain in the urethra before the semen is ejaculated. Okay. So the main contents to be remembered here, that main contents to be remembered, if you draw a table format, that will be much better. Then we have some common points here. You see here that seminal vesicles, location of the seminal vesicle, location of the seminal vesicle. Where do you see the present? Posterior inferior to the urinary bladder in the pelvis. The seminal vesicles are located the posterior inferior to the urinary bladder in the pelvis. Okay. So location of prostate glands. Prostate gland, location of the prostate gland, like located directly beneath the urinary bladder, okay, which surrounds the prostatic urethra. This is the location in case of prostate gland. So what about Cowper gland? Location, located beneath the prostate gland at the beginning of the internal portion of the penis. Okay, these three are said to be the locations. Locations no way helpful for us in NEET examination. Just that while writing MSET, this may be helpful for, but location is not at all helpful for NEET examination. They didn't mention in the NCERT text actually. Next, secretions. Secretions is one of the very important content here, secretion. Then what are the secretions here? Fructose, protein, citric acid, inorganic phosphorus, potassium, prostaglandin. Actually, in each and individual functions is not given. For example, citric acid is the instant energy which makes the entry of alpha ketoglutaric acid of the citric acid cycle directly enters and provides the instant energy. These kind of things we don't have in our state text even. So only the two things are given: function of fructose and function of prostaglandin. So the function concept, that fructose and prostaglandin function itself becomes the function of seminal vesicle secreted bulk of semen. Okay. So then, in case prostate gland, they also function of the prostate gland. What do you say? They also provide nourishment. Okay, they also provide nourishment. The prostatic secretion activate the spermatozoa and provide nutrition. So when it comes to the Cowper gland or bulbourethral gland, you need to remember this word, flushing agent, that washes out the acidic urinary residues that may remain in the urethra before the semen is ejaculated. Okay, so that means the in the passage urinogenital canal, when the passage occurs, that should be washed out by that acidic urinary residues are removed by the secretions of the bulbourethral glands. That we need to remember that as a function. Okay, so this is about the accessory glands of the male reproductive system. Accessory glands of the male reproductive system. So with this major content, if you make a table, that will be much better. Okay, so these are all male accessory genital glands. Okay, and then we have to go with the spermatogenesis process.